On today's show, the Cavs have evened up the series against the Knicks, and Darius Garland led the way. We're going to break that all down on a new episode of Locked On Cavs for Wednesday, April 19th.
You are Locked On Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast.
All right, the music you heard on the way is from our friends at Astro Radio. I'm Chris Manning. That man over there is Evan Dammarrell. Thanks again to Jake Stevens for his production work on the background. I want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, and that's guaranteed. Evan, Cavs winners in Game 2 against the New York Knicks, tying up their first round series 1-1. Darius Garland is the big star. He's 32-7. And I think by and large, when I think about this game, this is perhaps the best response you could have gotten from Cleveland coming off the Game 1 loss. There are certainly things I think they would still like to improve on. There's a lot to kind of still figure out about what is sustainable, what is not, I think, and what happens going forward. But by and large, this was a really, really great response from Cleveland to come out, get a win they needed, and for Darius Garland to really get going in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, from a player component, you look at Caris LeVert or Darius Garland just rolling on offense like they did, and carrying or at least shouldering the load enough because Donovan Mitchell didn't have to do everything in terms of scoring. That Mitchell kind of acted as that primary/secondary playmaker for the Cavs. The Cavs dug deep and realized what their number one identity is, which is defense. You saw a lot of it with Mobley and Allen, of course, but then you saw a lot of just the defensive rebounding or just negating the Knicks' offensive rebounding and second chance opportunities. That's super encouraging. I think JB Bickerstaff having the wherewithal just to say, you know what, we're pulling the plug on Dean Wade and Ricky Rubio in this series, and they went with Cedi Osman first off the bench, and then Caris LeVert and Danny Green to round out the rotation, with Isaac Okoro getting the plug pulled on him as well, and JB admitting post-game that he was riding with LeVert because LeVert was the hot hand in this game for them. And yeah, this was a good response to Saturday's game. I agree with you. It's not perfect. It's not flawless. I think Donovan Mitchell pointed this out as well, that in the first few minutes of this game, Cleveland looked like they were getting a little bit roughed up by the Knicks a bit again, and then it was more encouraging to see the Cavs kind of remain even-keeled and have a steady disposition just to rock with it, and then just hit New York back with a taste of their own medicine, and kind of kept hitting New York with those blows, and really just worked a lot of things into their favor. And like you said, it's not foolproof. We don't know what's fully functional, what is or isn't going to be thrown out heading into Game 3, but at least for now, the Cavs have more of a template to beat the Knicks and have maybe a better understanding of what New York is throwing at them defensively and also how New York likes to function on offense. And I think this was a pretty total team effort on the Cavs' part. 3-point shooting especially, but like defensively, like they turned up the screws quite a bit on New York, and they never really relented. Maybe until midway in the third, when the Cavs kind of like realizing, okay, we might have this game in the under wraps here.
I think I think offensively, Cleveland knows what New York is going to throw at them. I think at the level, they understand how to manipulate what the Knicks are going to throw at them defensively, and they are getting whatever they want, I think, largely in those situations. The onus is now on the Knicks to adjust what they're doing defensively, and for Cleveland have to adjust back, and we will see that this has gotten this version, a different version, but the Knicks against the Hawks a couple years ago had Trae Young figure out what they're doing defensively, and the Hawks picked it apart and they won. I think Garland getting going, I think how physical Okoro and Mobley played, I think how what Caris LeVert played, to me, all of that bodes really well. I think you'll see Okoro again. I liked what you got out of Danny Green. I liked, I don't think Cedi played particularly well, but like at least he's moving well, had some rebounds. Yeah. I think this feels like a momentum shifter. This feels like a palate cleanser, to so to speak. We will see. I think Mitchell said this post game. We will see what Friday looks like. That's going to be a raucous environment where no one in that building is rooting for them. But I think there's stuff they figured out, and I think we'll talk about him a ton more. But Garland being kind of the catalyst of this, for him having this kind of game, his arrival, to me bodes really well for what is to come. That the Cleveland they have found their footing, they have gotten going, and it's about sustaining it. But this feels like the beginning of a positive, or more positive stretch than maybe the doomsayers would have been saying after game one.
Oh, absolutely. This is, as you said, a palate cleanser for Cleveland. They're riding a lot of positive momentum heading into MSG on Friday. As you had said, and Darius Garland said, nobody in New York's rooting for the Cavs at this point. They want to watch Cleveland lose. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hostile. Donovan Mitchell seems like he's going to be up for the occasion when he said that as a competitor, this is the stuff the moments you live for. And I think it's going to be fun just watching this game from a pure basketball standpoint. But if you're the Cavs, you have a lot of positive momentum riding into this game. And that's kind of what you need, because there is an alternate reality where we are staring down the barrel of this doomsday scenario where Cleveland is down 2-0 to the Knicks heading to the Garden. And I've said it to you privately. I think I've said it to people publicly in other just shows or anywhere I've been over the last few days, that if Cleveland goes into the Garden down 2-0, like, there's going to be, the red flag wouldn't have been up quite yet, but I would have been starting to get a little concerned, because I'm just like, okay, the Cavs said and seemed to be doing all the right things after that game one loss. Caris LeVert called it a feel-out game. JB Bickerstaff and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen and everyone really weren't really that pressed on it, saying like everything's fine, everybody's calm, everybody understands what's ahead of them. And they were doing and saying all the right things, and then they backed it up on the floor to kind of give me at least the benefit of the doubt that Game 3 isn't certain. I know FanDuel Sportsbook has Cleveland as the favorite winning the series again here, but it's a 4-5 matchup for a reason. There are ways this Knicks squad and this Cavs squad match up with one another very well, and now the Cavs just have to ride this wave and see how far it can take them. And heck, if they're able to take both one game or maybe even both games in the Garden and wrap this up in Game 5 next Wednesday in Cleveland, that's great. But you're looking for the goal of just focusing on Game 3, taking care of business then, and then you shift your focus to Sunday, and then you shift your focus back to Cleveland next Wednesday. You take it game by game.
Yeah, I think this game, though, in particular, just what you have figured out, too, is the physicality matching it was such a big deal. This in person felt like a very physical playoff game. This felt like a game where there's a lot of contact. There's a lot of guys get, like, the Knicks would get offensive rebounds at times. They still had a pretty good offensive rebounding percentage. It's the fact that the Cavs were physical with them when they got the offensive rebounds. We're slapping the ball. We're contesting shots. This was one of the more physical games I think I've seen the Cavs play this entire year, and that was not the case in Game 1. The Knicks came in Game 1 and really punked the Cavs in a lot of ways. That was not the case here. That, to me, tells you, okay, they've arrived a little bit. We'll talk about him. Like, I think Danny Green, that kind of exemplifies this in some ways. Like, he guarded Julius Randle, and I think, like, handled himself, acquitted himself very well. Like, Randle, like, you would trust Randle to score if they're going to ISO him and stuff, but Green matched his physicality. He bumped and bruised with him. Like this whole Cavs team, everyone that played, I think, really showed up. Even Okoro. Like, he gets two fouls because he's being
45 seconds.
Yeah, it's just like he's out there being physical, and like the game just absolutely just didn't, like, I get not going back to him, but like he showed up bringing the physicality. Like, I think everyone that stepped on the floor for Cleveland brought that. All right, we're gonna get into game awards, but first gotta tell everyone about a great sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Ultimate GM. Ultimate Pro GM is the coolest game that has come out on mobile, I think, in a long time. You know, everyone is always talking about how great of an NBA GM they would be, and it turns out it's not all easy. You've had the same thought and fantasized about being your own general manager franchise. You can download the Pro Basketball GM app game right now. The game allows you to manage every strategic aspect of a franchise, playing through seasons, and even leading your franchise and fans to glory as you build a historic dynasty. In this simulation, you are responsible for dealing with challenging personalities. That includes players and coaches, hiring the right coaches and assistants, trading and trading players, making draft picks, and navigating your franchise through free agency and the draft, and all the ups and downs of multiple seasons. All of this is in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate Pro Basketball GM is completely free and playable offline, play on the go as you want and when you want to. Locked On Cavs listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit ProBasketballGM.com, scan the code, or look it up on the app. That's ProBasketballGM.com, Ultimate Basketball GM. Start your dynasty today. All right, we're back. Let's give game awards. I mean, Evan, who else are we giving MVP to but Darius Garland? Here, this is the thing that I think I found most impressive when I was looking at what he was doing. He took 11 free throws. One of Darius Garland's superpowers is the fact that he will penetrate and bend a defense that way and make a defense react to him, and he uses that to set other people up. He was aggressive and willing to just take fouls and take the lumps in this game. And to me, that is growth as a scorer. That is growth that Darius Garland is going to be able to acquit himself in these kind of playoff situations. I particularly on a night for Cleveland to win like this with him having 32-7 and being the one after that opening first 6 minutes, had the game in the palm of his hand every minute he was on the floor the rest of the way. For him to do this and them not have to have Mitchell score 40 for them to win, that to me is just a really, really good sign.
Yeah, it's super encouraging because Donovan Mitchell, as you had said, he has the propensity or at least the ability to go give you 40 points, especially in big moments. Friend of the program, Spencer Davies, was talking to you about it, but I overheard him saying Donovan Mitchell's just wired to do anything to help this Cavs team win, and you saw him take that secondary role tonight as a facilitator and a playmaker for the Cavs because Darius Garland had it going for the Cavs, and your point is 100% accurate where he was aggressive in the fact that he was looking to create for others constantly. I don't have his stats fully in front of me as I pull them up, but I know he had more assists than he did turnovers in this game, whereas in the first game he had 1 assist and 5 turnovers against the Knicks. So he found a way to kind of probe and just work through what New York was throwing at him defensively. It was curious to me just because New York found a lot of success in game 1. Trapping the Knicks, and I think the Cavs taking that page out of their book and maybe
you mean
rattling
the New York had success trapping the Cavs.
More specifically trapping Darius Garland as soon as he crossed the timeline. My apologies, and then denying Donovan Mitchell the ball to kind of take that safety blanket away from Garland as well. But the Knicks shied away from that, and I think it's because Cleveland rattled them a lot on defense, and they weren't able to really get set and fully comfortable. But Garland was just in his bags tonight. JB Bickerstaff said post game that Darius was aware of the fact that he needed to step up to the plate and just kind of be the guy that they need him to be because he's an all-star level player. And Donovan Mitchell said during practice or shoot around, I believe, one of the two, either way, that he had pulled Darius aside after game 1 and just walked him through what he was seeing and just they were just sharing thoughts and perspective on the series and just kind of being that big brother mentor figure, but also telling Darius hey, when you have the ball, I want you to go. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about my touches. Don't worry about my looks. And I think having a teammate who has that ability to shoulder the load, just instill that much confidence in you was huge. But Darius responded really well in this game. I think the 6 of 10 from three-point range was the most impressive part. He was taking what New York was giving him. I think the Knicks sagging off of him at times and maybe respecting Donovan Mitchell's three-point gravity and Garland kind of manipulating it as an off-ball scorer was super nice, and I think the Cavs can find a lot of interesting ways to exploit that, not just against the Knicks, but if this playoff run keeps going even deeper into the postseason, you can find other ways to exploit that against other opponents as well. But Garland was in his bag today. I think if he just doesn't have this game, it would be dramatically different. And again, the Cavs found a way to win a game against New York, and it wasn't flawless. There's still some issues that Cleveland has. But for now, you take this win when you can, and you're riding this positive momentum. But if Darius Garland has that confidence level to at least meet Donovan Mitchell at Donovan Mitchell's level in the postseason, the Cavs are in a really good spot going forward because those are your two best players on offense. And if those two are working off each other in harmony, that's really, really, really hard for the Knicks to contain in the best of 7 series.
Garland this year, first year of his career, had an above-average rate in terms of drawing fouls for his position, according to the Clean of the Glass. He still only took 10-plus free throws in 7 games this entire past season. That's out of 69 appearances.
Nice.
This felt to me just like a really, like a like a eureka moment for Garland. All right, let's go to stat of the night. This is a historical kind of one for me, Evan. So ESPN
I have a feeling I know what it is.
So Darius Garland had 26 first half points against the Knicks. He is, in the last 25 seasons, only 3 players ever playing for the Cavs have had 25 points, more than 25 points in a playoff half over the last quarter of a century. Those other players are LeBron James and Kyrie Irving.
Darius Garland, pretty freaking good, folks. He was sensational tonight. He was exactly what Cleveland needed. You could see that New York maybe adjusted their defensive play calling and just focused towards Donovan Mitchell, maybe not letting Mitchell get the cleaner looks and opportunities that he might have had in game 1, or at least, I mean, Mitchell did struggle for some of those points in game 1, but like it felt like an effortless 40 at times too. But Garland really responded well to this, and just the fact that he had all that strong momentum going into out of the first half and into the second one, like the Cavs kind of put the Knicks away about midway into the third quarter and never looked back, and a lot of that could just be attributed to Darius Garland and then Donovan Mitchell just closing the deal for them.
What is your stat of the night?
It's a pretty simple one. Cleveland gave up 27 offensive rebounds in game 1. They only gave up 17 offensive rebounds in game 1 with 27 second chance points allowed off of that. Cleveland only gave up 13 offensive rebounds in this game with 13 second chance opportunities allowed. Sure, it's 4 less offensive rebounds, but the second chance points are super impressive. I think that's just the Cavs kind of either 1, playing physically, or 2, just understanding the assignment and what's kind of ahead of them. And also, it's worth noting that it just wasn't Evan Mobley and Jared Allen locking things down in the paint. Like, sure, Mobley had 13 rebounds, Allen had 10, and that was 23 of the 43, but you saw rebounding numbers from everybody not named Robin Lopez or Halu Neto, who played garbage minutes in the closing moments of the game. So this was a team effort for the Cavs. This is something JV Bickerstaff stressed after practice on Monday, that like it's not just on the 2 big guys to kind of carry the load and deal with the Knicks being such offensive rebounding menaces, but like you saw everyone on the Cavs like attacking the glass as soon as like a defensive opportunity came along, just to snag a rebound and get out on transition.
All right, let's go to play of the night. I have 2. I'm gonna be a coward and pick 2. So first one, Darius Garland had some crazy shot making, had a hezzy into a driving into the lane to a one-legged quasi no-look pass to set up Jared Allen for a dunk. I mean, the moves and the handle he pulled off to set this up to get Jared Allen just like a monster and one finish was just like, holy crap. Like, this guy like had just utter feel of the game, and like there's nothing that defender is going to do to stop him. The other one is Donovan Mitchell, who has a new career high in assists in this game. He's driving at Isaiah Hartenstein at the rim, and mid-dunk, he just like flicks a pass to the corner for Jetty Osman for 3. And like this play did not like totally register for me in real time. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. But the Dime on UPROXX Twitter account tweeted this, and I just have kept watching this play because he's literally like he is cocked back on the dunk, and instead of trying to finish the dunk, his arm comes forward, he just like changes the trajectory of the ball to have it go out as a pass. Like I have a hard
This is your Shaquille O'Neal moment. You're saying I wasn't aware of your game, Donovan. I owe you an apology.
Yeah, but it's this is better than like
I
Christian
wasn't aware
Wood.
of your game because you didn't see it in real time.
Like, I saw the Jetty 3, but it's like I just like the
what led to it.
And it's like, look, I have. It's like hard to like focus and make these decisions. When guys can like alter their path on certain stuff like this in the real time, just it blows me away. This is the kind of stuff where like I don't want to take how cool basketball is for granted when he does stuff like this. It's so cool. Basketball's the best.
He makes the special seem normal, and we haven't really seen that from a player since LeBron played for the Cavs, where like LeBron could roll out of bed and give you a triple, or at least roll out from a 10-hour sleep and give you a triple-double, and it just seems like it was completely effortless. Like, Donovan Mitchell just does so many little things that do go underappreciated, and if you don't like sit down and break down the film from every single angle, or maybe see certain highlights or clips, like it can go unnoticed. And good on you for noticing it, because like that was a good pass. I pulled up the clip as you were talking, and it's impressive just that he has the presence of mind to not only do that, but just like it looks effortless in the way he does it. And that Jetty Osman 3-pointer was another momentum shifter for the Cavs in this game, and like good on Mitchell for just kind of getting the rest of his teammates involved and leading to a career high in assists tonight.
All right, quickly, what is your play?
My play of the night is Danny Green's only made bucket in the nearly 20 minutes he played, but when he made that 3-pointer, he first got Jalen Brunson to bite on the pump fake really badly. Like, Jalen Brunson had a bad night defensively. Like, he got burned a few times by the Cavs, or a few separate Cavaliers, but this moment stuck out to me the most. And, like, this is when the Cavs were just really peaking momentum-wise, and you could feel like the arena was ready to explode. And as soon as Green took that 3-pointer and made it, the roof almost blew off the arena. And you're like, okay, I think the Cavs are going to win this game. And this was before halftime. I'm like, yep, New York could put up a fight in the second half, but like momentum is just fully in Cleveland's corner, and they're not letting it go.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. I mean, that includes NBA playoff tickets if that's your jam. Flash deals and last-minute tickets, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. And you can get images of seat views in the app too. It is the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress of Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, and that's guaranteed. All right, let's talk about Danny Green a little bit more.
Sure.
I just, like, he went, so I had a feeling he was going to play because when I was watching pregame, he went through it, the timing of his pregame was different than it normally is. And then he was using a band in the tunnel right before he came in. Mm-hmm. I thought he looked good. Like, he's taking threes. I think he's going to defend up because he doesn't move as well. He kind of runs, Evan, like a, you know, like the old guys. Like, I say this as like someone who aspires to do this someday. You know, like when guys get into like their 60s and 70s, but they still like run like marathons and halves. That's what Danny Green just runs like now.
Aspires to do that, Chris. That's you now.
Yeah, but I can't run like
I'm not, mentally, you're there.
You know, here's the thing. There's some things going on that I need to rewire that in. I need to live a little more youthfully and adventurously, and we'll see how that goes for me. It'll be interesting.
Chris Manning's gonna get a face tattoo and a motorcycle, folks. You heard it here first.
No, you have done one of those two things. I will do neither of those things. Yes, guys, Evan has a face tattoo. You just can't see it. So he got the Gucci Man ice cream cone. It's just clear. So
I got the Rick Ross State of Florida in between my eyebrows. It's just invisible ink.
God bless. So I think he's gonna, based on this, I think he's probably gonna continue to play. There's no reason to me to think that like he's probably not gonna continue to see some minutes based on how he looked.
I agree with you. I think nothing's for sure with this Cavs bench squad. I mean, I think the only for sure guy is Caris LeVert, who played more minutes than Darius Garland, Donovan, anyone in the starting unit at all. I mean, LeVert did play a lot of garbage minutes, but regardless,
sure.
Jetty Osman, he rewarded that play from game 1. He didn't give you a ton. He's 1 of 7 for 3, but like you said, he was moving, he was rebounding, he was moving the ball. He provides you some of that movement shooting. Danny Green gives you a lot more of that. You're correct in the fact that like athletically, he can't fully contain 1, 2s, or 3s just like on multiple possessions. If you ask him to every maybe once or twice a game, sure, once or twice a half, maybe that's fine as well. But like you saw him defending Julius Randle really well in this game, and just like the fact that like maybe there's not as much athletic juice left in Danny Green's tank allows him to maybe play up like that and defend fours and just players of that nature. But I think more than anything for me, it's just New York stylistically plays 2 big guys like the Cavs do. And you saw JB Bickerstaff very early into this game kind of just punt on that formula a little bit and say, okay, we're going to play one of Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, but we're going to play small 1 through 4 for the rest of this. We're going to play with speed. We're going to trap the Knicks. We're going to kind of beat them at their own game, but we're going to have that speed. We're going to have that length. We're going to have that athleticism, and more importantly, the shooting, because the Cavs shot the heck out of the ball. They're 14 to 33 from 3-point range. They made 7 more 3-pointers than the Knicks, and I think Danny Green goes hand in hand with that. And if this is just your formula for success against New York, rock on. That's great. But it would not surprise me just if going forward it's the same starting 5 with JV Bickerstaff, same post game. Like, there's no firm decision made on Isaac Okoro, despite Okoro only playing about 3 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
And then you have LeVert, Osman, and Green just rounding out that rotation. At least until something breaks, why mess with a good thing?
So, but I think this is where we'll end this. I mean, I kind of wonder if Caris LeVert should just like start at the 3 for game 3. Like,
I think that's a fair assessment. But I do think LeVert finding that niche off the bench and maybe getting his reps and just kind of seeing the ball go in a lot against bench squads helps a lot. And then JB Bickerstaff finds opportunities to play him off of Garland and Mitchell, because let's be frank, the Knicks are going to defend up a little bit more on Garland and obviously defend up on Mitchell in game 3. But like, LeVert can really benefit from that if those two are getting so much defensive attention, and whether it's 3-point shooting or attacking the basket or just kind of doing Caris LeVert things, that works. But you could talk me into him being the starting 3 heading into game 3, but maybe you don't want to disrupt the flow of what you have going, and you just kind of keep tinkering and find ways to just maximize LeVert's opportunities and just let him close games like he has been all season long.
Yeah, curious to see how they handle Okoro going forward. We'll end there. I'm Chris Manning. That's Evan Dammarrell. Cavs win game 2. Series is evened up. Going to New York, 1-1. We'll have a recap up for you Friday. In the wee hours Friday after that game. Evan, tomorrow we'll have a conversation with Alex Wolf of Locked on Knicks.
It'll be a piling good time with Alex Wolf.
Yes, checking in on this series so far. Until then, I'm Chris. That's Evan. Thanks again to Jake Stevens. Thanks again to Asteroido. Thanks again to Gametime. And
be well. We'll talk to you soon.
Ultimate GM. Peace out.